I got truffle. You want truffle oil?
East.
Get you a truffle oil.
I love truffle oil.
Uh-oh. They go everywhere.
You too, right?
Truffles.
Yeah, truffles. U2, my favorite band of all time. Michael, he likes them too. He likes them too.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks they're pretty good.
They're like the trefoils of bands.
Okay. Okay.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means, but
It's meant as a compliment.
this is a video roughly 2 months in the making because we started the channel at a bad time. Something we like to do if you check our movie channel.
Anyway, this is take 2. We had a really, really good first.
Thoughtful. I cried. I saw you crying too.
I mean, I did.
And the mic wasn't on.
So we have compelling footage, no audio. And all the reactions are genuine. So now I know what his favorite YouTube album is, and like I didn't already. And I know what his favorite song is, so like I didn't already. But I had some surprises that were in store. Had surprises. He wanted to kill me. I had to stop him. You know.
Actually, yeah, there was one that you left out. That's weird.
I mean, we had to wrestle. We had to stab each other. Very loud.
Truffle wheels were lost.
Truffle was
That's when we stopped the conflict because we lost the truffle wheels.
Yeah.
We were like, what are we doing?
And he said, there are many times he said, what? So,
yeah, I said that a couple times.
So yeah, but now you, dear viewer, will be able to say that in the comfort of your own home or wherever you are. Number 14, Zero. No, your play's trash. I'm joking. Actually, I don't really mind this album. I gave it a 3.5, which on my grading scale is it's just pretty bad. Now, I don't think that the album is really like poorly made. It's just not really my style.
Production's good. It's just not.
Yeah, and that's
not what we're into.
That's another thing about the U2 albums. Like none of them are. None of them are bad. Like there's just not really my style. Some of them. None of them are badly made. There are some songs where you're like, So I have Zero Blast, but the highlight for me on that album is Stay. Gabe will probably go much more in depth on the albums than I will.
Well, number 14, most recent one, Songs of Experience. It is the classic U2 fan to not like the new stuff and rate the older stuff higher. But then that's how I am. You know, whatever, fight me. Most of Songs of Experience, it's just kind of you know? There's some stuff I just really don't like, but I think most of it's meh. Get Out of Your Own Way and American Soul have that Kendrick Lamar part. Why? I think the rest of American Soul is actually pretty good. Summer of Love I actually really like. Red Flag Day is okay for me. The Showman I don't really like. Little Things That Give You Away. I said it in the last take.
Which you'll never hear. Neither will we.
It's just a classic U2 song name. I could have predicted it. You could have too. Landlady is, whatever. The last 3 songs they're fine. I think the album as a whole, not bad. Not something I'd listen to very often either though. So 3.5 out of 10 is my number 14.
So my number 13 is from what I understand, one of like people's least favorite U2 albums. It's No Line on the Horizon. I give it a 4 out of 10. The highlight for me was the title track. I don't think any of these albums are bad. It's just this album felt really like meh to me. Whereas Europa, the first half of it, I just blatantly don't like. Again, this album, like I said, it's just it's a sound.
It's just not for us.
Yeah. I think I like it more than he does.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 4 out of 10.
13, I got Songs of Innocence. 3.5 out of 10 for Songs of Innocence. Miracle, Joey Ramone, that one's fine. I think Every Breaking Wave is one of their better songs since 2000. There's a really good acoustic version that's on the deluxe edition, I think, and there's a good live MTV performance as well of that song. California, I think that one has a pretty good sound to it. Song for Someone's kind of whatever. Iris is okay. Volcano has a pretty good chorus. The final side is, okay. So it's not terrible. It's slightly, I guess, better than Songs of Experience.
So number 12 for me. You know it, you love it. It's pop. Again, this is one of those U2 albums, from what I understand, is like one of the most hated. I saw a comment once. It was like, the album U2 decided they weren't going to make music. I think that's what it said. I started laughing. I could kind of see that. First three songs, I don't like. However, the rest of the album, I really don't think is that bad. Staring at the Sun, I think, is one of their best songs. Last Night on Earth is good. I like Miami. You don't. And then Please and Wake Up Dead Man, I think they're really good. So overall, I ended up giving the album a 5. So it's okay. Some really high points and some really discotheque. That might be their worst song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Discotheque, Get on Your Boots. It's one of those two. My number 12, I have No Line on the Horizon. 4 out of 10. Slightly above the other two I've listed. I think prior to this album, YouTube they were talking a big game. They were like new direction, and then after it came out, the sales weren't great on it, and they were like, what the heck? And there's just not a lot to love on this album for me. And even if they did go back, they got they got Lanois, they got Lillywhite, the original producers right there. They brought them all together, and it just didn't work. I will say the title track is good. You said that as well. Magnificent's really good. It's one of my highlights. A Woman of Surrender is kind of slow paced. I think a lot of U2 fans say that was really good. Not for me, but Unknown Caller, that one's okay. It's a good guitar work. I Go Crazy If I Don't Go Crazy Tonight, another predictable title.
I like this song.
Get on Your Boots, I hate that song.
I don't think it's a bad song.
Stand Up Comedy's not good. Fez is barely a song. White as Snow, highlight. Never performed live. I'll say that about most of the songs that I think are good that haven't been, just because it's depressing. Breathe is okay. Cedars of Lebanon, there's your geographical part. So the album is complete now that you have that. My number 12, No One on the Horizon, 4 out of 10. Not bad, not good.
My number 11, first controversial pick, it's Boy. The only standout for me here really is I Will Follow. And you said Out of Control when you talk about it last take. And then I remembered it. I was like, oh yeah, that was a good song. I think it's just it's good. It didn't really have much of an impact on me. It was more of an album that just showed promise more than I think it really showcased what the band could do. And it still works as an album, and I can understand why people like it. It's just kind of really wasn't for me. However, if I was a record executive and I heard this, I'd be like, yeah, there's probably something there. So yeah, go write in the comments. I ended up giving it a 6.5. So it's still a good score for it.
My number 11, I do have Pop, 4 out of 10. It's not good. It's not completely terrible. There's a few songs that save it. Starting with Discotheque, a sin. I hate that. Even just making that song is a sin. The video's terrible too. Don't go watch it.
The video's weird.
We just don't like that song.
I remember the first time I heard it, we were going through the mountains. We were like,
yeah. First time we listened to Pop, last year, vacation through the mountains, driving through Tennessee. Put it all, and I'm surprised he didn't reach over and turn it off. Honestly,
I thought about it. I'm glad I did, because then we got to staring at the sun.
Yeah. Do You Feel Loved? I actually like that song. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of slow, but I kind of like it. If God Will Send His Angels, another slow song, except this time it doesn't work for me. And Staring at the Sun, just a classic.
Good.
Just a classic. A highlight. Easily the best song on the album. Last Night on Earth, I'll do like that one. That one's pretty good. Gone's okay. Good guitar work, as always. Miami, I don't really like. Kind of likes it. The Playboy Mansion. If you wear that velvet dress, it's kind of spoken lyric. doesn't really work here. Please is really good. Starts slow, builds up. I think it ends pretty well. Wake Up Dead Man's really good too. So I think the final two songs, they end pretty well. 4 out of 10. Number 11.
Now, it's probably the most controversial pick on my listening. Is number 10, The Unforgettable Fire.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot on here that I just really care for. A lot of it was experimental, in my opinion, sort of. A Sort of Homecoming, Pride in the Name of Love, and Bad. Those are the standouts for me. Everything else I just think is, except for Wire. I do like Wire. So, not much I can really say about this album. I think it's decent. Overall, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
So at number 10, I have Zooropa, 4.5 out of 10. I think the first half is just not good at all. I do think Zooropa, there's a really long intro, questionable, don't really need to be there, but I think it builds up towards a pretty good end of the song, but overall it's not really great. Babyface is not good. Numb is like weird. It's just Edge talking for the entire song, which if you're gonna let Edge be involved vocally, let him sing. And then you have Lemon.
That's U2's version of Watermelon Sugar.
Watermelon Sugar? And then you go into Stay, Far Away So Close, a song originally written for Frank Sinatra. And pretty sure Far Away So Close part is like a film that it was used for. But that song is probably my favorite of the 90s songs. Then moving on to side 2, kind of starts off rough. I don't really like Daddy's Gonna Pay for Your Crash Car that much.
So weird.
It's weird song title. The song, it does sound weird too. The lyrics are a little weird. Some Days Are Better Than Others is actually,
I forgot to mention
that's
that.
actually good. Yeah, that's pretty good. The First Time is the other highlight on the album. Sounds different than pretty much all the rest of the album, in my opinion. And I think it really works. I think it really sounds good. And then you go into The Wanderer, which is kind of weirdly featured. Kind of feels different than the rest. It's like, doesn't really fit. You just get Johnny Cash out of nowhere, even if we are big Johnny Cash fans. And I think he does sound good. I mean, I think the lyrics are pretty good, but production is a little weird on it. And I like really the backing tracks really kind of fell out of favor with me. So yeah, it's not as bad as the first time I listened to it, I don't think. 4.5 out of 10. Number 10 as well.
Right. So, number 9, I have Songs of Innocence. This was the first time I actually ever heard of U2 because without consent, they just put this album on my phone. I was like, what is this? I tried to get off my phone. I couldn't get it off for like 2 years. I wish I had listened to it though, because there are some songs on here I actually do like. The standout for me here is Every Breaking Wave. Miracle is great. California, I think, is really good. Song for Someone is good. I like Iris a bit more than you do. Volcano is good. It's just, I think, overall, I think it's a good album. It's kind of unfairly hated, in my opinion.
Almost that has to do with it being added on everyone's phones.
Yeah. No, so I do like the approach. I do like the sound. I don't think it's as memorable as some of their other stuff. So overall, I ended up giving the album a 7. 7 out of 10. Highlight again, Every Breaking Wave.
9, I have All That You Can't Leave Behind. 5 out of 10. This is supposed to be the Get Back album. They were going to get back to their roots. It got pretty good reaction and treatment when it came out. And I think it gets pretty overrated though, because the second half of the album is just not that great. Highlights for this, you have Beautiful Day. It's really good. Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out Of is fine. Elevation, I liked at a point. Nah, I don't really like that song anymore. Walk On is okay. Kite is good. And you go into In a Little While, which is actually one of my highlights. I think it sounds good. It's a little bit different from the rest of the album, but I do think it sounds good. It's simple, but it works. You go to Wild Honey, which is my favorite song on the album. Different sound to it. I think it's a direction. It's kind of a... It definitely feels... That song feels like the time it came out, 2000. That kind of feels like that was the music around then. But, except most of that music wasn't really that great. But I do think the sound for Wild Honey is good. And you go into Peace on Earth, which is okay. I Look at the World, it's okay. And the bonus track, Ground Beneath Their Feet, I actually think should have been on the album. I actually think that one's really good. But overall, they got Eno and Lanois back together again. And, a lot of people liked it. They said it was really, really good. I don't think it's really, really good. It's a 5 out of 10. It's good. It's good. Remember now.
My number 8, I have Songs of Experience. This one slightly edges out Innocence. Because the middle of it, I just think, is really, really good. You're the Best Thing About Me. Get Out of Your Own Way, American Soul. Minus Kendrick Lamar, like you said. It's kind of weird. Summer of Love and Red Flag Day. I think they're probably the best U2 songs from this decade. Which I think they've only hit 2 albums.
I'd say some... Sort of Love's up there with Every Breaking Wave for this decade.
Yeah. I think this, again, like Innocence, I think this song of this album is unfairly hated. They still kind of continue with that kind of indie sound that they're doing. And I really liked it. So, yeah. Overall, I ended up giving it also a 7 out of 10. So, with the highlight for me being American Soul.
So my number 8, I have October, 5.5 out of 10. It's an album I really didn't like when I first listened to it. I gave it another shot and I was like, it's not bad, but I don't think it's that great either. It's a fine second album. I think it's fine. More religious themes on this album than from Boy, but I think it mostly works. And the highlights being Gloria, obviously, best song on the album. There's themes of it really being a cover, but they make it different enough so it is their own song. There's some good Latin that adds in, I think. I Fall Down is okay. I Threw a Brick Through a Window. Rejoice, Fire is really, really good. The first side is pretty good. The second side kind of tails off definitely towards the end. Tomorrow I really like that song. October's good, really like the piano. But then like the last 4 songs are kind of just like With the Shout, Stranger in a Strange Land, Scarlet, Is That All? None of them are really special. They're not memorable. I'm not going to go back and listen to them, constantly. It's kind of the theme for the whole album. I wouldn't listen to it, that many times. But I do think it's good. 5 and 5 out of 10. My number 8, October.
So my number 7 is also, October. Again, like you said, Gloria is easily the standout on this album. It kind of continues that tradition, because if you don't know, this song, it was originally a Van Morrison song, and Patti Smith covered it, changed the lyrics, and I guess U2 covered it and changed the lyrics. So it's far cry from what Van Morrison did. But I still really like it. And then the other standout for me is Fire, and also really, really like October. Overall, it's just it's a sophomore song a little bit. I think it's better than Boy in my opinion. But
if you think it's better than Boy, how do you think it's a slump?
I didn't think Boy was. I thought Boy was a decent just beginner album.
Well, I just okay.
They should call a second album like a sophomore song. I think it's a decent album.
I like it. October, it is pretty good. I agree with most of what he said. It was the album, a lot of religious themes, like I said, and it was at a time where Adam was not a practicing Christian. He wasn't really into that stuff, but Bono, Edge, and Larry, they were really into that, and they were at the point where should they pursue their religion over the betterment of the band and continuing the band? So you had Edge, who just told Bono, he was like, all right, I gotta leave the band because of I'm pursuing these beliefs that I have, and he just thought it was the right thing to do. And Bono was like, well, I'm out too if you're out. And then Larry was like, well, can't you have a bass and a drum player? So he was out as well, and he was following his own beliefs and joining them. And it was Adam and the manager who got together, and they were like, you can still practice your religion, and you can also be in the band, because we think we really have something special here. And I'm glad they stayed together. So my number 7, I have How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, 6 out of 10. Vertigo, you start from the Uno, Dos, Tres, Catorce. Everyone was talking about it when it came out. No one really knows why Bono does it. But I do think the song is pretty good. Guitars are a little loud, but they do sound good. Like most of the album is that way. Miracle Drug, pretty good. You get some singing from Edge in that song. The song about Bono's dad, Sometimes You Can't Make It On Your Own, is pretty good. One of my highlights. Love and Peace or Else is good too. City of Blinding Lights, the song Obama used for his campaign for some reason. Another one of my highlights for the album. Moving down to A Man and a Woman, I think is really good as well. Crumbs from Your Table Down, I just think they're okay. Yahweh is good. The bonus track sucks, and then they left off Mercy for some reason. The 6.5 minute song that I think they cut down just because of runtime for the entire album. And there was a stupidly low quality version of it that got released into the internet after Atomic Bomb dropped. Not a pun, I actually mean that. And fans were just like, why was this not on the album? So I think it's just a tragedy Mercy wasn't on here. I'm sad. They performed it live years later, but they changed the lyrics and they shortened it. And, classic move. So yeah. If they had kept it on the album would be an 8. I think it bumps it up that much for me.
Wow. My number 6 is All That You Can't Leave Behind. I gave it a 7 out of 10. This album it's kind of like Atomic Bomb for me. It's like just one long song, just put onto a record with breaks in between it. And I don't mean that as like an insult, because I really do. I like almost all of these songs right here. Elevation is probably the weakest point for me. My standouts on the album were Kite and Wild Honey. Wild Honey was probably the best. I would probably rank it the best song of theirs on this album. Also, I really liked The Ground Beneath Your Feet. Wasn't that a bonus track?
That was the bonus track.
Yeah. I really liked that.
I don't know why it was left off.
Yeah. But also Beautiful Day. I forgot to mention Beautiful Day. Really like that song. So there's a lot here to like. However, I feel like the album kind of occasionally becomes too monotonous with itself, and it kind of can drag on. But it's a decent comeback.
Second half, especially.
Yeah, but it's a decent comeback album. I really like it. That's why I gave it a 7. It's number 6. All That You Can't Leave Behind.
My number 6, I have Boy, an album I really didn't pay attention to the first time I listened to it. The second half, especially. Really didn't remember any of the songs. They just kind of ran together. Obviously, I Will Follow. It's a classic. First time I heard it. Twilight is really good. I think it was good guitar work on the entire album. Really, first, you're talking pretty much through the entire '80s catalog. You're getting very, very good guitar work. Like always, Edge, such a master of his timing and delays. Uncut Dub, which runs into the Heart. It's kind of one song. There really isn't a cutoff point between them. But Uncut Dub is definitely the better part of that song, even though Into the Heart has pretty much just all guitar until the end, which there's really good playing. Out of Control, which I do think is really good. Side 2 doesn't really do it for me. Stories for Boys, The Ocean. Day Without Me's fine though. Another Time, Another Place. I really didn't like that song at first. And then I overrated that song, and then I was like, nah, it's just okay. Electrico. Studio version's good here, but it's better live, especially on Blood Red Sky. And then the last song, Shadows and Tall Trees, and Saturday Matinee, or I guess put together. I don't really care for that song that much. So I give it a 7 out of 10, my number 6, Boy.
My number 5, breaking into the top 5, is War. Now, I really like this album. Always liked this album when I first heard it. Sunday Bloody Sunday is one of the best U2 songs. It's amazing. Great. Second is good also. New Year's Day. First 3 songs, just fantastic. One song I didn't pay attention to, but he really likes is Drowning Man. It's amazing. It's a great song. And I really liked Red Light. So, really, I think this is a great album. This was really when U2, for me, really just came into their own. It was just like, yes, this is what it's about. Overall, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I did feel like some of the back stuff, like it's just kind of got a little slowed down a little bit for me. But overall, I think it was a really, really good album. 7 out of 10. That's number 5.
Number 5, I got Rattle and Hum. 8 out of 10. Had it higher first time I listened to it, or second time I listened to it. First time I listened to it, I was just tired driving home one night from work, not looking forward to school the next morning. I really wasn't paying attention. I just remembered only a few songs. The second time I listened to this, I was like, I am an idiot. Confirmed. I start off with Helter Skelter, which I think is a really, really good opener. Van Diemen's Land is really good too. They let Edge sing on that one. Desire is probably the most popular song from this album, and I think that's fair, but there's better songs. Has a Bo Diddley type beat for it. Hawkman 269, as I like to call it. That one's really good. There's really good drums on that one as well. That's a song I didn't like at first, and I made vocal to him.
And then we listened to it in the Blazer.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this song isn't bad at all. It's actually really good.
And I was like, wait, I had it confused.
And then turns out he did have confused anything.
Yeah. I had it confused for another song, but then I listened to that song and I was like, well, this song's good too. I don't know what I was thinking. We move on to another live cover, All Along the Watchtower, which I do think is a really good cover here. In the movie, Rattle and Hum, Bono paints Rock and Roll Will Stop the Traffic on the statue in LA as they're performing it, which I think is just boss, even though they had to pay for it later. Still the album I'm looking for. It has a choir, but it's not the same version that was in Rattle and Hum with that choir, like in the movie. I think they should use that one, because this one was in like Madison Square Garden, I'm pretty sure. It still sounds good, but I think they should have used the one in the movie version. And then you get one of the excerpts, Freedom for My People. The excerpts, like this in the Star Spangled Banner, I just don't understand it. Star Spangled Banner, you didn't have it on your all. If you're going to put Freedom for My People, you could at least put like the full version of the people who sang it, which I can't remember the 2 guys' names, but they're in the movie. And you go into Silver and Gold, which I do think is really, really good. The studio version is not nearly as good as this live version that's on here. The live version of Pride is pretty good. Angel of Harlem is really, really good. And then you get Love Rescue Me with Bob Dylan. Do think that one is really, really good. When Love Comes to Town, B.B. King. Can't really go wrong when you add him onto your song. He's just a legend.
It's gonna be good.
It's just a legend.
He's gonna be good.
He's just a legend. So I do think that song's really good. Heartland is one of my favorite songs. Really good vocal performance on that song. And then the final side, God Part 2 is fine. Star Spangled Banner is why. And then this version of Blue at the Blue Sky is really, really good. It isn't the studio version, not quite, but I do think it is really, really good. And then you finish with All I Want Is You, buried at the end, but such a good song. They're probably not known by me. 8 out of 10. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah.
Number 5.
So my number 4 was also Rattle and Hum. Again, like you said, Helter Skelter, Van Diemen's Land, Desire, Hawk Moon. It just opens up with a bang. U2 may be like an Irish band, but something that really strikes me about this album, this is a very, very American album.
That's what they're aiming for. Most people thought they didn't know what they were doing, and they were just trying to act like they were up there with all these legends that they were trying to emulate, and that's why they didn't like it.
Yeah. But I really like it. It's just a great sounding album. Probably the worst song for me on here is probably God Part 2. I'm kind of like him though. Helter Skelter was a great opener. Van Diemen's Land, just rehashing all that. Angel of Harlem, Love Rescue Me was amazing. Heartland. Heartland's probably maybe the best song on the album, maybe?
Yeah, it's for me.
And then All I Want Is You. Still great. It would have been a great album all on its own, but then they decided to make it kind of a hybrid, which I think honestly was the right move.
Well, I'll say this. There's some live songs in the movie that weren't on the album that definitely could have been.
Yeah.
Exit in the movie is really good. That performance. Sunday Bloody Sunday is the best performance in that movie. Probably the best performance of that song. Is my favorite. 2028. I've said this a million times. 2028.
Or later this year.
2028, I want a 40th anniversary edition with all those live versions and so much more. From the Love Town tours, all that.
Yeah. What a fantastic album, really. Overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
My number 4, I have Unforgettable Fire. Moved up for me recently. I think the first half is really good, minus Promenade. Not really that good. Sort of Homecoming is really, really good. Pride is just a classic. Wire, there's really good vocals, some high vocals in there as well, and really, that's probably the best guitar sound on the album. Title track is really good too. Promenade and 4th of July back to back is just, that's rough. That's a rough back to back. There isn't much going on. Bad. The studio version is really good. I think the live versions of that song are better than the studio version in almost every case. Indian Summer Sky, the last time I listened to it, wasn't as bad as I first initially thought it was. Elvis Presley in America I still don't like. And then your second MLK tribute in MLK at the end, which is fine. And then you get one B-side I'll talk about, Love Comes Tumbling, which is one of my favorite songs that they have, which I definitely think could have been on the album. 8 out of 10. Number 4, Unforgettable Fire.
Number 3, breaking into the top 3, we got How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. A lot of people would say a tie. Personally, I would compare this album to X album Main Street by the Rolling Stones. It's just a full tour de force blast of just music, and it's good music. So in a lot of ways, it's very similar to All That You Can't Leave Behind. However, I just like the sound of this a little bit more. Easily the standout for me was Vertigo, Miracle Drug. You Said a Man and a Woman was really good. I lied. Actually, the standout for me was Yahweh.
It's a good song.
I just the way the music works and the Bono's voice in the song, it's just struck a chord. Yeah, Mercy was really good too. But I think this is it's just a fun album to listen to. From start to finish.
It's their best one since Octum. It's not a hot take.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Best album cover of the entire catalog. It just is.
But we take into account classic. You're talking Joshua Tree. Rattleandhum is really cool too.
Overall, I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. Of course, the highlight being Yahweh. So that's my number 3. How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb.
My number 3, I got Octone Baby, but I feel like all of them in the top 3 could be interchangeable. I'm really okay if anyone says any of those 3 are their best. Definitely makes sense if someone says that. So you start off with Zoo Station, one of the weakest songs on the album, and it's not even that bad, but just compared to the rest, I mean, there's a lot of greatness here, so it's really hard to compare. Even Better Than the Real Thing is classic. Really, really good guitar, like pretty much the rest of the album has. And you have one, just a classic, pretty much everyone knows it. Until the End of the World, the lyrics are kind of like from Judas' perspective when he's betraying Jesus. I do think the lyrics are really good. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses? That's your boy.
That's your boy. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses?
So that song is really, really good too. It was a highlight. So Cruel kind of dips off. It's not a bad one either. The Fly is a highlight for me. Really, really good guitar. Just like On Mysterious Ways right after that as well. Probably the best guitar on the album. Trying to Throw Your Arms Around the World, probably my least favorite song on the album. It's just kind of the weakest, but it is still good. Ultraviolet is another really, really good song. Longer song, kind of slower, but there's really still some really good fast-paced guitar in the background at points. Acrobat's really good, and Love Is Blindness is really, really good as well. With the guitar solo at the end really probably is the best on the album as far as just like one specific part of a song. Bono claims that Edge tore the strings off when he was playing it in the studio after Edge had a divorce, so he really put his heart into it. Must be tough. So yeah, I mean, just a classic album. There's no like truly weak points at all. 10 out of 10. It's tied for first with two others. It's Octo Baby.
Alright, number 2, The Joshua Tree. I get why people say it's the best. Understandably so. It's just there's one reason why it's not number 1. And it is because of the second side. And it's just the second side is much weaker than the first. But the first side, I'm not going to say the first side carries the album, because the second side is still really, really good. But it's just really the first half of it's amazing. You start off with Where the Streets Have No Name, Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, With or Without You, and then Bullet the Blue Sky, which is one of my favorites. It's just incredible. Running the Standstill, Red Hill Mining Town, best vocal performance from their entire category, in my opinion. Either that or Heartland.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just In God's Country's good. My favorite on the second side is probably Trip Through Your Wires. Oh yeah. No, Red Hill Mining Town's the first. It is on the second side? Okay. Trip Through Your Wires is probably my favorite after that one. And then the other three after that I think they're pretty good. So it's just, this is a classic album. Everybody who like really likes music should get this.
They gotta listen to it at least.
It is arguably the best album of the 80s.
I mean, it is for me, but that's biased. So I'm not gonna.
I don't really listen to much 80s.
Some people would say like Thriller or something crazy. It's just that the album's trash.
So I gave it a 9 out of 10. So that's The Joshua Tree.
Another one I have tied for first. War, 10 out of 10. Sunday Bloody Sunday, just classic. Easily one of their best. There's no debate. Seconds is really good. Edge sings the opening part. I think there's really good lyrics. It's kind of new wave. There's a lot of talk about, it's kind of, that song kind of discusses like the outcomes of war. At the end it's like they're doing the atomic bomb. Do they know where the dance comes from? It's supposed to be like in the future, after war happens, they're going to be doing a dance. Kind of like Ring Around the Rosie kind of has some background like that. That's kind of what they're saying. New Year's Day, that one's really good. The single version sucks because they cut out most of the guitar in the middle. Blasphemous. And then Like a Song and Drowning Man, really good back-to-back. I love both of those songs. Like a Song has some really good guitar work and drums. Maybe the best on the album.
Yeah, the drums for War is just amazing.
Yeah, all the way through. Drowning Man. The violin, there's a violin on Sunday Bloody Sunday as well, but the violin really shows up on this song. It's one, I don't know, I've said it about a bunch of them before, but like a Song, performed once, dropped down a key, sin. Drowning Man never performed live, only rehearsed in 2009, but they had to drop it down a key again. But Drowning, there's a lot to recreate, so I guess I understand it. There's 2 acoustic guitars playing, there's violin, there's, some passionate vocals that are really hard to recreate. I guess I understand it, but I really like that song. Refugee is good too. It's a little bit different from the rest of the album. They did something different for that song. Two Hearts Beat as One is really good, fast-paced, catchy lyrics. Red Light is really good too. It's simple, but I think it really works. Then you have Surrender and 40 to end, which 40 was really, really good. Adam allegedly left the studio when they were recording the end of the album. They were like, oh, we need one more. So Bono was like, you know what? Psalms 40. That's basically what the song is, but he just reworded it a little bit. So Edge had to play bass when they were recording it, so whenever they performed it live, Adam and Edge would switch instruments. So I thought that's a pretty cool fun fact. Anyway, the album as a whole, really, really, really good. Just classic. War.
My number one, it's the Octone, baby. I had it at a 9.5, and then in the middle of the other review, I said, you know what, screw it. We're giving it a 10 out of 10. Said it deserves it. And again, it opens with, there's nothing I can say that hasn't been said. It's just amazing. Zoo Station, still a good song, even though I would argue it's the weakest. But I'd rather be at the beginning than at the end. Even better than the Real Thing. Like, really, it's like gut punches you, puts you in the mood for the album. And then you get one, which I guess is really the gut punch of the album. It's like, yes, this is it. It's arguably the greatest U2 song. Until the End of the World's fun. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses? It's your boy. It's just, it's so, like, the best way I can describe that song is just air. It's just airy. It feels very atmospheric. It's so good. I like So Cool. Fly, like you said, is great. Mysterious Ways is just great. Trying to Throw Your Arms Around the World, still great. Ultraviolet, another one of my favorites from the album. Acrobat and Love Is Blindness is just, like I said it for Atomic Bomb, it's just non-stop. It's a roller coaster ride that you go on, and it's so much fun to listen to. It is, in my opinion, the U2 album.
That's all fair. I have Joshua Tree. Technically not one, but it is at the bottom of my list, or at the top. First time I listened to it, and it was like instantly like classic. The second side was what I had to come around to, and I was like, wow, I really missed out on a lot of good stuff. Because the first three songs, one could argue, are the best first three songs on any album ever. Like, I mean, just for like casual fans.
Everybody's heard it.
Casual fans, everyone's heard those three songs. But for real fans, they would say it's the best 4 opening, because Bullet the Blue Sky is amazing.
I swear I heard that song in Iron Man.
Yeah, we really thought it was an Iron Man.
I remember the first time I heard it, I looked at it and I was like, is this song in Iron Man? So I had to rewatch the movie. It wasn't in it. It was such a missed opportunity.
But to Running to Standstill, still really good. Red Bull Mining Town, it is the best vocal performance. Like, for the chorus, when he's just really belting it out, I think it just sounds amazing. I get goosebumps.
Yeah, that's really what makes like some of the top 3 albums. Well, I guess top 2. It's just goosebumps.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances.
The best performances.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances. In God's Country, Trip Through Wires, both really good. One Tree Hill, Passionate, recorded in one take allegedly. It was very rarely performed live back in the day. But it is really good. It has a good story behind it. Exit is really good. It's allegedly cut down from like a 7 or 8 minute just like studio just rampage of the band going crazy, just letting it all out. But you can kind of hear that at the end, and I kind of wish they would have had the full 7 making it. Mothers of the Disappeared is also really good. Heavy lyrics for that one. The album as a whole is just, I think it's perfect.
It really is, yeah. Top 10 songs. I'm going to go first, and this is where the U2 fans are going to come in through the front door and kill me. Number 10, Every Breaking Wave. Just because it's from a new album. I really like this song. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. Number 9, Red Hill Mining Town. 8, It's Your Boy. Who's Gonna Run Your Wild Horses? 7, probably a controversial pick. Yahweh. 6, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's a classic. Everybody knows it. Also, I really like the religious implication to it. 5, Sunday Bloody Sunday. It's one of those songs I just get goosebumps to when I listen to it. It's great. Similarly with, actually, top 5 I get goosebumps listening to. 1, it was the U2 song I never knew I loved before I ever started listening to them. It's just fantastic. Number 3, Ultraviolet. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ultraviolet. Again, it's just
not being featured in the last take to number 3 is wild. I'm not gonna lie.
Ultraviolet is just I love it. Come on, baby, light my way. It's just a great one. Then number 2, Bullet the Blue Sky. Biggest missed opportunity from the MCU. And the number 1 most controversial thing I think I've ever said, Staring at the Sun.
It is a really good song. I don't know. A lot of fans wouldn't put it there though. They probably would put it in the top 10. It might just be like, pop's trash, all of it. They're missing.
But no, like Edge goes crazy on the guitar in the background while Bono's singing it over. It's just epic.
It's really good.
Epic. I love that song.
My number 10, I've Walked to the Water. It's a B-side for the Joshua Tree. I can't remember which song it was a B-side for, but it kind of starts off spoken lyric. But I think overall it sounds really good, even if I don't know what starts the recording of the song. There's this weird sound I don't really care for. I don't know why it's there, but number 9, I have Mercy, the forgotten track from Atomic Bomb that still hasn't been released as a studio release to this day. 8, I have Pride, just a classic. Sunday Bloody Sunday, it's the same. It's just another classic. Drums, vocals, goosebumps, everything. It's all happening at the same time. You know what's going on. It's just a whirlwind. Number 6, I have Heartland, because I really love the vocal performance on that song.
Yeah.
Especially at the end. Probably the highest Bono gets for a song, I'd say. And I do think there's really good bass from Adam. Number 5, I have Like a Song. I've said it before, earlier. The drums and the guitar really do it for me on that song. All I Want Is You, I have number 4. That was just instantly the highlight the first time I listened to Rattleandhum. It's a long song, and there's the orchestra for like 2 minutes at the end of the song. But
I feel like a long song.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, and some people like, oh, the orchestra's too long at the end.
So
It kind of adds to it. You gotta like. You might come to that song, just listen to the lyrics and then the guitar, and then it goes to orchestra and be like, that's enough. You listen to the whole song, you gotta listen to the song. It's the full experience for that song. Where the Streets Have No Name, I have number 3. Just a classic. It was my number 1 for as long as I can remember, up until recently. I moved Red Hill Mining Town up to number 2 because the vocal performance is just incredible.
it's out of the world, man.
I love the chorus. It just sounds so good whenever he's belting it out. And then you have Drowning Man. It's my number 1. I've said all I can about that song. I love it. Anyway, hopefully it records this time.
Well, it recorded last time. Hopefully it gets our voices. Well, I had a lot of fun doing this. I had a lot of fun listening to YouTube while playing Lego Batman. I'm going to go do that. You should play Lego Batman, and you should also listen to YouTube all at the same time. And don't forget your trefoil wheels.
Yes. Never forget the trefoil wheels.
So, I'm Michael.
I'm Gabe.
And I'll see you guys later.